No, Kyra.
So on three.
Kyra
One,
was
two,
never in band.
three.
Yeah, just like
Okay.
that. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey everybody, welcome to the Ask. This is your host, Dr. Hanson. Somebody missed the cue again. You are not going to be in our band. I'm just saying, I don't want to pass judgment, but somebody is off cue.
Yeah, Vaughn.
Yes. So welcome to the Ask. I am your host with my peeps in the house today.
Yeah.
Shout yourself out. On my far left is none other than the world's famous Philippines' most famous physical therapist in the world. We welcome none other than the Philippines' most accredited physical therapist, Ate Kyra.
Hello. Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Hello.
That's how you get the party started, people. That's what I'm talking about. We don't skimp on the sound effects here.
Yes, I
What's
like
up with
this.
that? I'm just saying, we got to make it real. Keep it real.
See,
So
isn't
cool.
it? It's a different experience being in your ear.
Yes. This is
It-
first time. This is my first time on a
So
podcast.
who's your first time? Who the heck are you, dude?
My name is Vaughn Genuino. I'm a student physical therapy assistant, and I'm doing my affiliation here in Corona Hills Physical Therapy.
Who is our sponsor for this podcast? There we go. Shout out to Vaughn.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And you all know me as Dr. Hanson at the Ask here. That's wonderful. We got to change the name, Kyra, because I feel like we need a name where you could just be like, it's me, Kyra, son.
You know, I just like pop out of anywhere. I'm just like, hey, let's do a podcast today.
So here's the thing we have on our podcast today. Our famous guest is Vaughn.
Yes, sir.
Vaughn,
Hello.
the reason why I wanted you to get on this podcast with us today, Vaughn, is because your story is just as interesting as any other story that we have passed through this. And you are not just a PTA student.
Yes, sir.
You didn't just roll out of bed and decide to come into this affiliation.
No, sir.
No,
sir.
You have done a few things before you got to this point. And I really wanted to talk to you about that because I don't know if people actually take into consideration the number of veterans serving who have served, who are serving and are currently out there taking on a career in physical therapy. So I wanted to have your take and have a conversation with you. And
Okay.
this is a first. We've had veterans here before in the past.
As students or
As students, yes,
Okay.
we have.
Nice.
And always a pleasure to
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Yes.
And so my first question is,
Yes.
I've heard mixed stories on this.
Okay.
How do you feel when people say that to you? Like, thank you for your service. Does it seem like it's like just a catchphrase that, random weird people say to you and some stranger just pops out and says that? Or is there more to it than that for you?
I feel like for me,
Yeah.
since I did 2 tours. So I served 7 years in the Army. This is so weird. I'm not used to this, but I served 7 years in the Army. I did 6 years in active duty
Yeah.
and 1 year in reserves. Throughout those years, before my deployment, people would say, "Oh, thank you for your service." In my head, I'm like, I haven't done anything for my country. So
Yeah.
you can't really just thank me. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, I'm grateful. I still don't, until this day, I don't know what to say back. You're welcome. I don't know. I've never, thank you for your support, But now it's like, since I did 2 tours, I feel like nowadays, like soldiers, they just go in for like the money. That's easy, because it's easy to make money in the Army because it's always like constant, whatever. But before, it's like when people try to like serve the Army, they actually try to like go do it for the country.
Right.
So it's like the thank you for your service actually like means a lot when people say that to me.
Right.
What are like some of like the benefits? Like you're saying that people used to, people now go to the army because of like the benefits that comes with it. Like what are some of those benefits that people
right now,
go in for?
since I'm in school, I'm using my GI Bill. That's one of like the best like benefits that you could get. Even though like I didn't retire, I still had that 4 years of them paying me to go to school,
Right.
type of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I could have done it during my army days, but
Going to school or
going to school as well. They would have paid me to go to school during my time, but since I deployed twice, I didn't have time to actually go to school.
Right.
But I had some like sergeants and like officers that I worked with that when we were deployed in Afghanistan, they were in like class in school and whatnot.
Oh, really?
Which is so crazy because one was a pilot and he's in class for something for his degree.
Wow.
And I'm like, how do you have time for that?
Wow.
Like
yeah.
you're out in the country, you're doing your pilot, like flying, all that stuff.
Right.
And then on top of that, you have like time for your classes. That like, I don't know. And for me, like I was young and the stress was like, I was 19 or I was 18, I think 18 or 19 when I first deployed. And I was like, whoa, it was like, it's so different for me. And then from there, like obviously the stress, being outside California,
Yeah.
it was just like a very like crazy experience for me. Yeah.
What's what do you remember most about like your first day of deployment? Like you get off that plane, the door opens, and like what is it what's the first like
first
smell,
experience?
sound?
Oh
like
my God.
tell me what that's like.
It was a crazy one because we landed in what was the airfield called? Kandahar Airfield. So it's like south of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And this is like the first week we got there. We like as soon as we landed, there was like a what do you call this? Like a alarm, I guess, that we were like under attack.
Oh wow.
First thing was as soon as we landed, they're like go to the bunkers.
Wow.
Get cover.
So do you
I'm
know
over
where
here 19 years old. I'm like, what are we doing? Where are we running to?
So do you that's what I was going to ask. So you land, you like, like me fat sloppy lazy guy lands on my Delta airline on an airfield in, Podunk, Iowa, I don't know. And somebody starts like blaring a horn and telling me go to the bunker. How do you find the bunker?
At that point, adrenaline rush kicks in.
Yeah.
And you just like, bunker, it looks like it's like a cement and then you just like a tunnel in a way.
Yeah.
And then you just look for people that are going in there and you're like, you know what?
Follow the crowd.
Follow them.
Follow the crowd.
And at the same time, try to like see where the attack is coming from or like shooting or whatever.
Right.
And it was pretty crazy experience to me. One, I'm young.
Yeah.
Fresh out of high school, like 2011, signed up and then got deployed at 19. It was just like a crazy like ride.
Would you do anything different? Like if you were given the chance to go back and be like, am I going to make the same path or go through the same path? Would you do it again?
I was actually talking to you about it. If I have like out of nowhere we get like a World War III, right? I would sign up. I'd sign up again.
And
like, I've even told my friends this.
Why is that?
I don't. It's just the experience that I get of it, and then like obviously for my country as well. Like yes, sir. But I don't know. I just like helping people, and that's probably why I got into PT as well, like PTA, because my motto in life is I put people's needs before my own. Which is good and a bad thing, but I see it as a good thing. People say, "Oh, do you not love yourself?" I'm like, no, I love myself. I love myself.
Right.
It's just for me growing up. It's just, I guess my mom taught me
To be like selfless.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm always like, I'm here for you. Like, call me if you need me, type of thing.
Green flag.
Yes.
Wow.
Like that is my motto.
Green flag. What's
That's
that?
a green flag. Like that's a good quality that most people should have. Like that should. Yeah.
Very selfless in a way.
Yeah, selfless.
I think that's, I mean, great profession for this because I mean it is about being selfless, right? We talk about that all the time. It's like I'm you know, what do you do it for? Why do you do this? Is it for like being super famous on a podcast that only my mom listens to, or is it
Hey, every one of my friends listens to this.
every one of your friends listens to the podcast?
Yes,
That's
all
awesome.
2 of them. No,
All 2 of them. That's amazing.
No, people in Elo, they like comment on like my Instagram when I share it, and they're like, "Oh, like I saw your podcast. Like you guys are so funny." And
See, shout out to Elo. By the way.
Elo, copy.
Shout out to Elo. And shout out to the MI and JA and UK because I saw some people from the UK.
they're like, "We don't get any love for listening to
Nah,
this
man, I gotta
podcast."
listen. I gotta shout out all my people, and you know where you are.
Hi, Mom.
On Jamrock. My mom listened to the podcast. My wife listened to the podcast. Everybody who listened to the podcast, shout out to you. And that makes what, a total of 12 people?
Yes, and my little brother, he was telling me earlier, not earlier, but like when we first released the first podcast,
Yeah.
he was like, "Can you like say hi to me on your next podcast?"
Oh.
And I was like, "Yes, hello
cool,
to my little brother." Like,
Wait,
hello.
We didn't shout out your little brother last time?
Not on the
not on. Oh, okay,
yes.
yeah, that's
no, but
true.
on
Okay.
the first one that we released,
Yeah.
he was like, "Oh, like I'm on the podcast. Like that's so cool."
Well, it's a good podcast. I thought it was fantastic. So how was that adjustment? Like you've been out of, you've done your service, and after you finished, when did you decide that this is the route that you wanted to take?
It was actually during my, or actually before my service. My grandma had, she had a stroke when I was still in high school, junior year, and she had a stroke. Her whole right side paralyzed, right? Yeah. And I was like, dang, like I feel so bad. My mom works. My dad wasn't here yet. My grandpa had work too. So it's just me, and my sister was already in the army as well. My older sister.
Right.
So me and my younger sisters, we try to like take turns to take care of my grandma when she had the stroke. And then at first I was like, I didn't know if I was gonna go to college, so that's why I went to the army. And then a couple years later, after I got out 2018. I was like, let me pursue like physical therapy, like kinesiology pathway, whatever.
Right.
And then that's why I got into PTA, because I really wanted to get my grandma motivated enough to like go back to getting better.
But you said you got your bachelor's in kinesiology?
No.
Oh no. You were
so I
planning.
I was trying to get my degree for kinesiology.
Okay, gotcha.
But I heard the program from ACC Ontario. I was like, let me sign up.
Nice.
It sounds like a shout out and plug to
convenient.
ACC.
It's very convenient.
Ontario, their new program that's in Ontario. I mean, he shouted them out, so I got
first cohort. That's why
you're the first cohort at the ACC campus. So
I want to know like what got into like what was a factor into determining like what school you're gonna go into for like PTA and
it was just like the closest one for me in a sense, because I had 2 friends that was when I was working, one went to Azusa Pacific, I think.
Oh, okay, AP.
And then one went to Loma Linda.
Okay.
Right? 2 are like, Loma Linda would be like closer to me compared to Azusa. But it was the cheaper route in a way, in a sense. But, and this one's, I was just gonna do like PTA for now, because at first I wanted to do PT,
right?
But my friend was almost done doing her DPT degree, and she was like, "You should try PTA first, see how you like it. You know, if it's actually your route that you wanted to go to." I was like, "Okay, let me try that."
Would the military cover your, like, if you ever decide to pursue like a PT degree, like after trying you end up like liking what you do, would they pay for that or part of it?
I believe like you were talking about
Yeah.
that one place in Texas, right? Is it Texas?
Baylor. I realized what it was. It was Baylor.
I think they
and they're
do
connected
have
with the Army.
free program for like military personnel.
I've heard of that.
You remember we were talking about this when we talked about the cost of going to PT school, and Baylor is that school that I do believe it's the Army. I don't know if any other branch.
I think that is, I think there's only one that's like military, and then they cover the cost. Yeah, I think it's the one in
maybe
Texas.
That's in the future right now. Yeah.
You never know. You never know how this all works out. So I have to ask this question because I'm compelled by duty to ask this question as a whole. And I apologize in advance for anybody who served in the Army, but everyone who I know that was in the Navy and the Marines.
Oh, no.
That's okay. I think I know where this is going. Okay.
And the Air Force, in all fairness, they're going to ask, why didn't you ask him, why did you pick the Army? If I don't ask the question, if I do not ask this question, I know I'm going to get mobbed later on. So I have to ask that question. So I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Because I have actually a good reason. Well, not really a good reason. It's just like,
not really a good reason. A reason that's not really that
when
good.
As soon as I graduated high school, my mom asked me, do you know what you're trying to do? You know, are you trying to go to college? And I was like, I don't know yet. She's like, why don't you join the military like your sister? It's like, I'll think about it. And then actually she was like, try Air Force since your sister's in the Army, try Air Force. I was like, no, I'm not that smart. I don't want to do that because I heard so many things about like Air Force. It's like kind of hard to get in because like you have to have like at least a higher ASVAB score or something like that. So I was like, let me try Navy. I didn't want to go Marines. I just didn't want to go Marines.
Why not Marines? Okay, Marines, I've asked the question. I don't even want to hear
They're probably
going to
hate me.
I'm
like,
never going to.
Guy, that's
I'm never going to get in trouble
Why
now.
not Marines?
It wasn't, I don't know. It was not my thing, I guess.
Okay, asked and answered. We're going to move on.
And then I was going to do Navy.
Navy, yeah.
They kind of took forever.
Oh, okay. Processing.
You know, and
Navy recruiters?
Yeah. And then
feedback.
In the plaza that I was at, obviously there's like the Navy, the Army, Marines. They're all
Where was this plaza that you went to, by the way?
This was in Southridge.
Southridge?
Or not Southridge. In by Sierra.
Oh,
Slover Sierra, I think.
Oh, like
in Fontana area.
Fontana area. Okay.
And then there's the recruiter, that Army recruiter, and then I was like, let me go and check them out.
Okay.
And then they welcomed me, and they're like, "What are you here for?" I'm like, "I'm here to sign up." And then they're like, "Come on in."
So what you're saying is, to summarize everything that you said, the only reason why you chose the Army was because they were the ones that welcomed you in right away.
Right away. I mean, on top of that, my sister was already in the Army for like a year already. And then I asked her, I was like, "So how is the Army? Like, is it easy? Is it hard?" She was like, "Just do what you're told, you'll be fine." I was like, sounds easy enough. So I signed up. I asked my mom to sign me up because I was 17.
Oh, you were 17 at the time. When you graduated from high school, you were 17?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
That was
me 3.
Yay.
I couldn't even get money out of the bank to pay my school tuition.
Yeah.
It was terrible. It was absolutely
so
terrible.
Yeah, I asked my mom. She signed me up. She's like, "Okay, you're gonna do good." I was like, "Okay, cool."
How was that? How was that going to the military and being deployed on your mom? Because I think that's like any parent. I have kids around your age. Any parent would sit there and wonder to themselves, like, what the heck is my kid doing?
Yeah, it was The first deployment was really tough because I was there for 10 and a half months, almost like a year, you know. And throughout that deployment, we would get attacked. Like, especially the first 2 months, we would get mortared. You know, those like, you hear in the movies, like the whistle that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that it happens in real life. That is scary.
Yeah.
Right. And then when that happens, we can't really tell people right away.
Mm-hmm.
We have to wait till like we're clear to like, you know, message people from, you know, home and whatever.
Yeah.
And when I first messaged my mom about it or Skyped her, I Skyped her, and she was like so worried about what happened, and she was like, "No more. Like, can you please go back? Like, I don't want it anymore." That was scary because my sister, even though she was in the army, she hasn't been deployed.
Okay.
Because she had a kid before her deployment, like her base, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and then when I got deployed the second time, my mom kind of got mad at me, but I was like, I can't really help it because, you know, if our station is gonna go, we can't just like, hey, I can't go, I don't want to go.
You can't.
Which a lot of new soldiers nowadays.
Oh.
Well, when I was still in, they would try to get out of it, and I'm like, what? You signed up for the military. You know you're gonna either deploy eventually.
Right.
You know, you can't just like, well, I signed up because I want money, not because I want to serve, whatever. But like that's one of the reasons why I got out too. I'm like, oh, this soldiers, man, nowadays is like
not the same. And when you finished your service, what rank? What was your highest rank?
I was a sergeant E5.
Sergeant E5.
And for us that don't really have a lot of knowledge regarding like the ranking, like what is that?
I'm pretty much like a supervisor, like a, you know, in a sense, like a squad leader type of thing. I had like soldiers underneath me, like from private first class to like specialists. And then, because I was a mechanic, but during those two deployments, I was a Black Hawk gunner, which is pretty cool. I got to see Afghanistan.
I think you showed us a video of you like on the helicopter. Was that? Yeah.
It was
cool.
Wait, I didn't get to see this video.
Oh, you can't
I'll
see
show
it.
it to you later.
I was gonna say,
later.
do you still have that on your phone?
It's gonna be on my Instagram now.
Gotcha.
Oh wait, that's right. Your phone got stolen.
Yeah.
And it had all of that on there.
Yeah.
And it's lost.
Yeah, it's gone.
Oh no!
Back up your phones, y'all.
You didn't back up your phone?
No.
I'm old. I know to back up my phone.
Well, I didn't think that I was gonna ever get my stuff stolen. You know?
So, any recommendations that this is a question that we typically ask every student that has come to our clinic, but are there any suggestions, recommendations, thoughts, ideas that you would give to baby Vaughn? That's baby Vaughn, like when you graduated from high school. What's the number one piece of advice that you would have given to baby Vaughn based on all your experiences? Because it's one thing to give somebody else advice, but it's another thing to learn from all the things that you've done and to be able to go back and say, hey, like, this was my experience. This is what I would have told baby Vaughn. What would that be?
Find the right career at an early age, I'd say. I think so. Because I feel like right now, I'm 30 years old now, by the way.
What is that, a death sentence?
I feel like if I had chosen the right career, like, and found that path at early age, I feel like I would be more successful in a way, or more whatchamacall this. I mean, not that I'm saying that I didn't do anything like, you know, throughout the army and now that I'm in school, but I feel like if I had like that career in mind already, that mindset, I would have been like, I think set, you know, in a successful way, I guess, in a way.
Do you think that do you feel like in some way that your experiences have taken away from your your path in life?
Since it's two different careers, like military and then now like the PTA career, I felt like I should have been more like on the PTA side or PT side because like I said, like learning from you guys and just in general, like learning about the body and whatnot, it's just like so interesting to me. Very interesting. And I wish I learned it sooner rather than later, you know.
So I will say this one thing, right? So, and this is, I guess, well, I'll ask Kyra because
Yes.
I'm like
my comment on that.
your comment on that. Yeah, I'm just curious.
For me, I think I don't know if I'm kind of getting this from this conversation, but I think you spending also 2 tours on the military is not something that should be taken for granted. Like you should also like applaud yourself because there's some people that can't do that. And I think that
For real.
people sometimes just have different timelines. Like you say that, and then I immediately that comes to my mind. Like I think of Olivia, like someone who's how old is she now? Like 5? I don't know. 21. Okay, 21. She's 21 now, and she's got her path, and she's thought of this, and then I think of myself also. Although like I'm 27, and I'm also like, oh wow, like I wish I had my career like that put together, and I consider myself to had like I already knew kind of my plans, and then I meet someone like Olivia, and I'm like, wow, like like good job to you. But I think as I've gotten older, I've also thought to myself like people just have different timelines, and I think that you're just meant to be where you're supposed to be, and all those experiences that have led you to where you are were always meant to happen.
Exactly.
So, you've made many, what do you call this? You've made a significant, effect on us as being in the Army. You have helped us and protected this country, and you shouldn't take that away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Accomplishments.
that's
the word
exactly.
that I was looking for earlier. Like I feel accomplished even though like I wasn't in school.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think moving forward, it's just like your journey just changes, or like the chapter changes.
Yes.
And you just make an effect on you have an effect on something different now, but that doesn't mean that what you did before, or just because you did it at a later stage in your life, it doesn't mean that you weren't as accomplished if you had known it earlier, So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, enough said. I mean, that very well said out there. I mean, I will tell you that this is one of the things that there is no set plan necessarily for doing it the right way or the wrong way.
Okay.
Right? In your career, one of the things that you have to always remember is you are always learning.
Yes.
I love looking at some of the things from like martial arts essentially is that you are always working towards a perfection that you'll never reach. And everything that you do working towards that is just a process, right? So there is no right or wrong way. It's just the way. And you just have to keep going. It is just about the mission. It is about evolving as a person. It is about learning. It is about everything that we talk about all the time, which is you never really accomplish the end goal. Yes. You just constantly work towards getting better at what it is that you're doing and who it is you are becoming every single time. And everything is a lesson, right? So we get students that have texted me recently and said, my internship sucks. You know who you are. I think it's funny. My internship sucks. It is terrible, filled with terrible people. And then later, and everybody says the same thing. Even some of the people who,
Even me, I've had some bad internships.
But the thing is even your worst internship is a great opportunity to learn something.
Yes.
And so no matter what, I mean, outside of like killing patients and doing something like that's morally objectionable, right?
Yes.
You will have the opportunity to learn something out of that.
Absolutely.
And so take it for what it is. Learn what you can. Continue to learn, grow, and develop. That's it.
There's always room for improvement.
Always room for improvement. And every experience is a good experience. Just survive it.
Yes.
Survive it. Anyways.
That was some good, wise advice from Dr. Hansen, who's been reading the book for 20 years.
I have to bring this book. Yes. Listen, I am going to post a picture of Musashi, the thickness of the book.
I'm going to search that.
And the text in that book is like, I'm telling you, it's god awful terrible.
Your friend did it in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but he would read books like that like in a day. He'd go buy a book at the bookstore.
And just read.
And you'd be like, where did Lamone go?
It was released July 11th, 1939.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This book has been
crazy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyways, well, thank you again, Vaughn, for joining us again for the Ask. And I thank you for being here. I think Kyra, thank you again for joining us.
Yes.
I'm your host, Dr. Hansen at the Ask, and we are out. Until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe and to subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more interesting guests that will be here present to have a conversation. Kyra's over there choking. She's aspirating. Speech therapy. Activate. And we're out.